The Universal Orlando Resort has just confirmed that a brand new roller coaster is coming to Universal Studios Florida in 2027 as a replacement for Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. And as many of you suspected, it will be themed to Fast and Furious.
To be fair, I think that there was a minute there that, myself included, thought it might be Ghostbusters.
Right, or
But
Back to
alas,
the Future.
Or Back to the Future, but this has been an interesting one because I feel like it's been heavily rumored for a very long time. If you are not familiar, they are building a drifting coaster. It's by Intamin over at the Universal Hollywood Park, which makes me feel a little bad because here's the thing. Universal Orlando gets so much investment in the roller coaster department. We just had Velocicoaster in the past few years, and then we had Hagrid's before that. I mean, Hulk is pretty great.
Stardust, yeah.
Stardust, I mean, yeah, if we're going to go over to Epic, we have Stardust and the new stuff there. And then Hollywood's like, cool, we finally got something. And it's like this state-of-the-art, never before done, amazing coaster that is like themed to where they are in Hollywood. And we said, cool, we'll take that. And we won't even change the name.
That is probably one of the more unexpected points from this announcement is they are keeping the exact same name as what we have at Universal Hollywood, despite the fact that it will have a different layout.
Yeah, so why? Because here's the thing, the story writes itself. Hollywood makes sense in Hollywood.
Right.
However, here, we have like the most insane highways ever. This could be like Fast and Furious I-4 Drift and just theme it to like the terrible drivers that come and visit here. I'm so serious. Like, why do we need to be Hollywood or New York?
Manhattan Drift or something.
Yeah,
so this is an interesting point of discussion because Universal Studios Florida, as the name suggests, is a studio park. So like the different areas of the park are kind of themed, or especially the section are based around like movie sets, but this is particularly the New York set. And so many people are speculating that they might lean into that, but instead they are going with Hollywood, which I guess this isn't technically the first time that they've done that because its predecessor was Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket. But what's interesting about this one is, in case you haven't been following along, they are actually completely moving the station and the entrance area for this attraction. So Rip Ride Rocket was technically in like the production central area where it was to the left of the stage near the new Minions area, but this is actually going to be past the big like New York stages where the Guggenheim is, to the left in a brand new pathway. They're building a huge station and maintenance bay back there. So you're gonna actually go past the Tonight Show to enter this attraction, and then it will stretch down towards the entrance where the globe is. And that is where you're gonna have the big signature element, which they have confirmed in this press release, a 170-foot tall spike.
Wouldn't that make it the tallest Universal coaster?
It would beat out the original Rip Ride Rocket by only 3 feet. That was 167 feet. So this is taller than Velocicoaster, taller than Stardust. The only ride it is not taller than is Dr. Doom's Freefall.
I think it makes sense that they're doing this because the whole thing with Rip Ride Rocket is it had like a visual appeal to it because of the fact that, well, it looked like it was a vertical drop. It was a vertical lift. I think everyone thought it was the other way around.
Oh, all the time.
But now we have a vertical drop.
Right.
So that's great.
Right, yeah. I mean, so that was the only element that we have confirmed with this attraction. They didn't give any pieces of concept art, no hints at a layout, but they are full steam ahead working on this attraction. There are already a ton of footers in place that has people speculating where certain elements could be on the ride. That far end of where Rip Ride Rocket was near the front entrance of the park is now this huge clearing. So it looks like they're gonna have like a little twister section, and that's where you would have the swing launch. So in theory, what you could do is line it up with the spike and then go partway forward and then launch full speed backwards. Presumably this would be the highest point of the ride, but with these drifting vehicles, that spike could be pretty cool. We all know what a spike feels like, but I think this is gonna be different.
You have to be very creative at this point to stand out in Orlando because there's so many rides, so many roller coasters. And like, you know, at first when people were speculating that it might be Intamin, I feel like people had a little bit of pushback on that because we already have Velocicoaster. And, you know, it was like, how do you do a high throw coaster that doesn't feel too similar to right next door?
It needs to be fundamentally different.
And right now, the only coaster we have that spins in Orlando would be Curse of the Werewolf, which, like, I personally haven't had a ride where I spun on it. Oh, I don't know if it really does.
But
it's like a rumor to me at this point.
Right, but this isn't like, it's not really spinning. They're trying to mimic the feeling of drifting,
correct,
right?
but it's meaning it's going to rotate, right?
Yeah.
And like we have Guardians, obviously, which probably is the most comparable.
Right.
But I guess we'll find out. I don't know.
We assume, at least, because Hollywood does this, this will likely go upside down. So that will be a pretty interesting feeling. Like, you know, we're now in the testing phases of Hollywood Drift over in Hollywood. And that is looking very, very cool, the way it's doing these like dive loops and these barrel rolls and everything all built into the side of this hill, and that is opening probably within the next couple months. So like that's gonna be our first real hint of like what this technology could feel like, because I'm super intrigued.
Yeah, and like for me right now, if I look at like my favorite roller coasters I've been on, I love like extreme spinning coasters.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting one in this area so much. And like, again, I know it's not like a proper spinning coaster, but like taking inversions and airtime moments when you're rotating, to me is like the coolest sensation.
Absolutely.
So to have that like close by, I don't know. That might be tough to beat. I think it could be a contender for the best in, Florida, we'll see.
Yeah, right? And just Universal Orlando is now super stacked. Like Studios was always the weaker park when it came to thrills, especially with the addition of Velocicoaster. Stardust at Epic Universe is incredible. So now you have like the big 3 thrill coasters, one at each park. So like if you are a roller coaster fan, that almost like forces you where you're gonna need a park hopper. You're gonna want to visit every single property here, because before it was like Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket, I guess, was like the big thrill ride of Studios, but it was hit or miss whether people actually liked it or not.
Yeah, now it's just mummy.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I mean, people enjoy Gringotts, but it's family.
Oh my gosh, that's there too, isn't it?
It is there.
Look, I love that ride, don't get me wrong, but to me, it feels like more of a dark ride. We don't need to get into that.
Yeah,
though,
but Studios in general is in need of some help. Like, this is the original Universal Park here in Orlando, and it's definitely the weakest. They have a lot of attractions that are just kind of okay in people's eyes, and one of those, funny enough, was also named Fast and Furious, and with this announcement, we got the confirmation that we'll be closing around the same time that this attraction will be opening, and that is Fast and Furious Supercharged.
Good riddance. This thing, you say
Bye.
there are some okay rides, like, just use the word okay as like an insult to other okay rides out there, because I enjoy crappy dark rides. I get a good laugh out of them. It's an enjoyable experience. I can laugh it off. This ride, like, genuinely made me feel uncomfortable.
It's
like,
terrible.
it's so, like, awkward.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to look at the people next to me when I'm just like, oh my God, just get me off this thing. Like, I don't even ride it for a good laugh.
No.
I love when it's closed for horror nights.
The only time you go in the queue.
Yeah, it's terrible. And it's like, I'll be honest, like, I don't think I've watched any Fast and Furious movie.
I haven't seen any
either.
either.
The first one, maybe. That being said, like, I think even especially if you are a fan of the franchise, you probably get off that ride and you're like, what the hell?
So my prediction with this whole thing is, I think the studio is in the same boat as you and all the other public. I think the studio, there's a chance, I have no confirmation to back this up. This is my own personal speculation, but I wonder if they too are like, ooh, this is not a good representation of our franchise. And so that was one of the drives to close that ride, is now they can open this awesome new roller coaster and they have an attraction that they can actually be proud of. And they did the same thing over at Hollywood, where they had the section of Fast and Furious on the tram tour, closed it down. Now they're about to open up the big roller coaster, and I think that's one of the big reasons why I think they stuck with the name Fast and Furious and didn't go with like a different IP, because the studio's like, look, we want Fast and Furious in our parks, but we want it to be good. We want it to be something that's representative of our franchise, something exciting, and what you currently have is not it.
Well, and that means that space could be like opened up for something different.
Absolutely.
A different IP, and like I'm still not ruling out Ghostbusters. I love Ghostbusters, and I hate that there's not like a state-of-the-art, like really good ride themed to that franchise. I would love for that to happen there.
Yeah. The closest you get is Motion Gate, but it's like, it's tame, right? And it's like, it's okay. Think of what Universal could do with that budget.
Oh my gosh, it could be amazing.
Yeah.
And like it just lends itself to something really cool.
Yeah.
But
Back
I
to
have
the
no
Future,
idea.
that'd be cool too.
It would be. Or, some other IP that we're not thinking of. We have no idea. And it's not closing until 2027.
Right.
That's the closing date, so anything that's going to replace it would be long after that. And they have a lot of other things. Like I know Lost Continent is on the radar.
Yep.
I know that doing some expansion to Epic
Yep.
is on the horizon. I think that potentially, I don't know for sure, but the Simpsons land I think could be on the chopping
There's
block.
talk of that. I think they're going to try to open
priority.
a new attraction every single year for the next couple of years.
Fine by
So, I mean, we had Epic Universe in 2025. 2026, not doing anything, but 27, you get Fast and Furious. Then maybe you get Lost Continent or Epic, and then whichever one opens first, you then do the following one the next year. I think that would be like a good way to keep people coming back to Orlando and wanting to spend more time at the Universal Resort. And I think that, taking out Fast and Furious Supercharged also just puts more emphasis on like tightening up the attraction lineup in studios. You want to go to a park and say you want to experience every ride. Like you don't want there to be you don't want there to be any duds. And the fact that this attraction is closing after just 10 years, it opened 2017. It's a sign that even Universal is aware that, yeah, this was not the best idea.
This park, I feel like it kind of suffers from like the same issues that like Hollywood studios had for a long time, where they had to kind of like slowly like take things apart and like replace things one by one and get it up to snuff, and it'll get there. It's just, this is a big step.
Yeah, absolutely. Direction. This was a must. They needed a big signature ride, and this is going to be it. And I'm really excited to see what more information we find out from this as the months go on, because like I want to see what other elements are going to be incorporated to this layout. Are we going to get like a big signature maneuver behind the stage like what you had with Rip Ride Rock with the non-inverting loop? Like could we get maybe a stall that goes directly over it, or like some like awesome airtime hills, inversions? I don't know. Maybe something we've never seen before. I feel like there's so much potential, and I think that the space kind of lends itself to some really like daring maneuvers, some high points that you can see from many different areas in the park.
Well, they don't have to work with terrain.
Exactly, which was something that like you could look at.
Or sound issues.
Yeah, it would be a pro or a con at Hollywood, depending on how you look at it. That would be a super unique ride, but I feel like here, man, I'm really intrigued to see what they come up with.
Yeah, I'm just excited to have anything but Rip Ride Rock in there.
Yeah.
And anything besides Fast and Furious Supercharged. I literally said earlier, I was like, I would take a playground. If they just wanted to put a playground, I'd be like, great, an improvement, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. It is crazy to me how fast they have been moving. Construction has been just like flying along. It seems
Disney,
like
take notes.
They want as little of a gap as possible between Rip Ride Rocket and Hollywood Drift, and like I applaud them for that.
Because that park is kind of naked right now. Like it's weird.
When you take out a big signature ride, whether you liked it or not, that's capacity, and Universal Orlando seems busier than ever. So like you don't want to go a long period of time without a major ride. So I hope that this ride fills that gap. I hope that it is high capacity, so that way it's able to just eat through crowds, because at least over at Velocicoaster, they do a pretty good job at that, so hopefully this is similar. So let us know down in the comments below, what do you think of Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift coming to the Universal Orlando Resort in 2027?
And do you agree with me that it should have been I-4 Drift?
No.
Somebody does. I know you do.
Okay.
Whoever you are.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.